Questions of Doom.
Hello and welcome to a special Questions of Doom, which I am calling The Heart of the Matter. Yes, it's the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Yesterday I went cathedral licking, and today, across much of the Western world, people are celebrating their love for their loved one by giving various things such as cards, champagne, chocolate, and accoutrement for the bedroom. Yes, it is the day of love, amor, the pizza pie in your eye emotion. Now, most people do these things without even thinking about it. But I'm happy to say that the people who watch these fine videos, indeed the fine people who watch these fine videos, are not most people. And I have been receiving questions throughout the year asking, what is Valentine's Day? Why is this associated with love? Why must we do this to ourselves every year? I am losing my voice. Now, obviously they didn't type that there. But I thought I would save up all of these different questions and congeal them together to make a video on Valentine's Day. Congeal, there's a word you want to hear on Valentine's Day. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, Valentine's Day and its association with love is quite a bizarre one. Valentine's Day is associated with a martyr, a Christian martyr, who was killed in Africa. His name was Saint, his name wasn't Saint, but his name was Valentine, or Valentinus. And in 496 AD, one of the popes made it a saint's day. He essentially deemed it to be worthy of celebration. And thus we have Saint Valentine's Day, to give it its full title. But for a long time it wasn't actually associated with love, no, which is not unsurprising given that it's a day when you're remembering someone having been brutally murdered. But around about the 14th century, the writings of Geoffrey Chaucer associated Valentine's lovebirds and indeed the whole concept of love. And ever since then, indeed only 100 years later, people were giving cards to one another to celebrate their deep felt emotions for one another. Now, this may make you vomit, and I can well sympathise with those of you for whom it does, insomuch as, for many of us, Valentine's Day is a day when we are reminded that we are single. So, take heart, as it were, in the fact that that it's actually not always been associated with love. At one point, it was simply a day to remember the brutal murder of a man in Africa. Now, in terms of the heart, taking heart, the other big question that people have been sending me have been to do with the heart shape, the icon, this thing here. Now, this heart shape is a peculiar one because it doesn't actually look like a heart, does it? We all know, especially those of you who are archaeologists or doctors or people who like to watch Holy City, we all know that a heart is a big sort of mass of muscle, roughly the size of your fist, pumping away with tubes coming out of it. Now, if you had that on the front of a card, I imagine that would be rather scary. So where exactly did this rather bizarre and not anatomically correct image of the heart come from, as it were? Where from did it come? Now, there are various ideas about where this heart shape came from. My personal favourite is that it is to do with the seed of the syphilum plant, which in ancient times was used as a contraceptive. So this little heart-shaped seed, or rather seed-shaped seed, which became associated with love, would help people enjoy their love without risk of pregnancy, or at the very least it was hoped. So that's my personal favourite because it actually is the shape of what we often associate with being a heart shape. Alternatives are that the heart shape represents two swans embracing each other on a river. That's a bit vomit worthy. And also as well, there are other examples to do with the male and female form, as it were. There are many different parts of the male and female bodies, which are roughly that kind of curvy shape, and especially if you turn it upside down. I'm not going to go into details though, because many different people of many different ages watch these videos, but I'm sure you can fill in the blanks for yourself, and if you can't, come back in a few years' time and you shall. So the heart shape could also be to do with essentially reflecting physical love, in so much as it could be reflecting the curves and bumps and lumps which people often find attractive about one another. So the heart shape itself, yes, it is not anatomically correct, and it's either, and I think most probably to do with contraception, or it's possibly reflecting other things like the love between animals, or the other romantic notions, or just curviness on or lumps and things on human beings. So yes. Hopefully, again, that is a small beacon of cynical hope for those of you out there who are alone. After all, I do remember what it was like before I met Mrs. Soup. I was a lonesome figure, wandering the streets, just going, ah. Well, actually, no, I wasn't. I was incredibly happy as a singleton, and it took an awful lot of effort from a mutual friend of ours to get me to meet Mrs. Soup. Because I was going, no, I'm very happy. No, leave me alone. It's Valentine's Day. So I completely sympathise. So please do not assume that this accoutrement means that I am in fact going head over heels today on Valentine's Day, because I always have sympathy for those of you who get a little bit of a kick in the teeth every single time it comes around, or those of you who just want to be a Scrooge, a Valentine's Scrooge, as it were. But nonetheless, to everybody today, no matter what you're doing, who you're with, who you're not with, or if you're deliberately avoiding the world just going, I wish you all a great day. Have a superb day. Have a superb evening if you have anything planned. And remember, though, that Valentine's Day has not always been associated with love. Indeed, it was once associated, and indeed, for most of the time it's existed, it has been associated with brutal murder. With that in mind, I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.